Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss the It 2017 version. This time starring Bill Skarsgård, Jaden Lieber, Finn Wolfhard, Sophia Lillis, Jeremy Ray Taylor, Chosen Jacobs, Jack Dylan Grazer, and Wyatt Oleff, and directed by Andy Muschietti. Forgive me if I said that wrong. But before I get into this review, I want to explain the three things I left in suspense last week from the last week's show about why I was so nervous about going to the theaters this past weekend for this movie. Number one, this Pennywise sounds a hell of a lot like Johnny Depp's version of Willy Wonka. That's number one. Number two, this will not have a satisfying ending, for there will be a second part of the new It. Well, I'll discuss that when I see the when I talk to you about it. And three, it's a reboot that has never been on the big screen, and maybe there will be a reason for it to remain on television. Maybe not. But let's get into this, see if the movie version's much better. The opening logos show that it's raining in our opening scenes, and I love how we start the movie up with Bill making the boat for Georgie called the SS Georgie. And Georgie takes the boat for a sail in the puddle in the rain and runs into Pennywise, played by Bill Skarsgård, in the sewers. And they talk about friends, balloons, and a circus with popcorn and food at the circus. Pennywise makes Georgie take the boat, and I love the way Pennywise says, "Take it." And the next thing you know, Pennywise takes Georgie's arm, just one arm off, and eats it. And at that moment, I was like, ugh. And what's weird about that scene is a lady with a cat saw the whole thing. Like, seriously? They just stood there and fucking watched? Oh my god. But that might have been a problem throughout this whole movie. But I do love the scene. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. When I first saw the clip, when I saw Annabelle, I brought up a second ago, I honestly thought he sounded like Johnny Depp's version of Willy Wonka, but after that scene, he sounded very fucking creepy and menacing, like he's really fucking scary. Big time. Bravo, Mr. Skarsgård, for being the better Pennywise than Tim Curry. Let's hear it from him. Anyways, I also like the way we see the opening title of the movie on the screen as we lead the sewers to the outside world, and the first scenes are set. Well, the first one where we're at, the scene I just talked about, was in 1988, and we, for the rest of the movie, take place in the summer of 1989, June to be exact. And I like the setting of the movie too. We get introduced to Mike, who doesn't kill sheep, and the guy who I'm guessing is his grandfather tells him to kill the sheep and lectures if he wants to be with man or sheep. And that was a little cruel. Well, that's, I guess, what farmers do. We also get introduced to the rest of the Losers Club, like Richie, Stanley, Beverly, and Bill. We already got introduced earlier, and I like them better than in the original, might I add. Henry Bowers is a bigger bully than in the original movie. Like, he cuts people in one scene and kills on his own father at the end of the movie, and that was fucking menacing. And he's a good actor to portray the bully, in my opinion. I don't know who this actor is, but Ben is trying to get on his bicycle with his model, listening to New Kids on the Block, yes, the band, and meets Beverly and fantasizes her, as he's interested in her and at one point he writes her a poem on a transcript. I thought that was sweet of him, so I do like the character as well. We see a painting of a skinny-faced woman, and it comes to life. Was pretty fucking scary. I thought, damn, she looked like she could attack me as well. The kids interact with each other so well with humor, and there were some funny parts in the movie as well as scary parts. But I wasn't but I was hoping the kids would survive the whole movie, and spoiler alert, they do. We see in the library that a headless boy, as well as Pennywise, scaring the holy shit out of Ben, and that was intense. We see Henry Bowers punching and cutting Ben in the stomach. Like, damn, this fucker is playing rough to a point where I hate him to death. And that's a good thing for that actor. And that kid who plays Henry Bowers is a good actor to pull it off very well, like I said earlier. We find Betty Ripton's shoe with the boys in the sewers. And Betty Ripton's the girl who's been missing for months, like Georgie. The boys find Ben in the river, and they help him out by putting bandages on him. And I love the moment, too, by the way. Next thing you know, another kid goes missing from Henry Bowers' group named Patrick, who blows something and fire at the same time. I think it's one of those... I can't explain it. Which is so fucking dangerous. Like, yeah, I thought you're dead. I predicted that as soon as he goes in the sewers to find Ben. What an idiot. Beverly sneaks out of a store with stuff without paying for them, just with the boys. And I thought, yeah, you're in trouble when your father finds out. Which, luckily, there were times that I was like, oh shit, she's gonna be in serious fucking danger. Beverly is ashamed with her hair that she cuts it off. I was thinking, with the haircut, you actually look really good. And she jumps into a river with the boys and joined the Losers Club, and I liked that moment in the movie. Did anyone think there was a love triangle between Bill, Ben, and Beverly? Because I thought that the whole time, and the first time, and I did see this movie twice, and we'll see if there is the same love triangle in the sequel. But we do find out at the end that Beverly ends up not dating but kissing Bill. We get to the point when Eddie, Ben, Beverly, and Bill see Pennywise and get scared and find a haunted house where it lives. I love the way Bill sees Georgie and he says repeatedly, "You'll float too." It was also in the trailer as well. And Pennywise tries to get Bill, and that moment was freaky. Good way to get the audience scared to death. Beverly's bathroom is filled with blood, and the boys try to clean it up with her, and Bill and Beverly have a quiet moment of talking to each other, and they have such good chemistry, I feel like. Mike gets threatened by Henry Bowers' group to eat his own meat, and the Losers Club show up having a rock throwing fight with Henry Bowers' group, and Mike is joining the Losers Club, and I thought, again, that was pretty cool. The scene when the Losers Club began to see stuff in the past, when the projector moves on its own and Pennywise comes out of the picture and scares the holy shit out of them, and the audience, was very fucking scary in both IMAX and regular. And yes, I saw them both. Yes, I saw the movie once in IMAX and once in regular. Like, I was freaked the fuck out. Bill and the others go to the haunted house where it, aka Pennywise, lives, and Eddie breaks his arm, and Richie turns against him for a few scenes in the movie, and Eddie gets hospitalized. As that happens, was a good way to separate the group for a few minutes of the movie. Is as good way to lick their wounds and recover from the attack. That's a good thriller device. The line Richie says, "Stupid clowns," when there's a clown near you and scare the crap out of you, was like, that's it, you're dead. But does survive at the end of the movie, spoiler alert. When Henry Bowers tries to take shooting practice with the cat, I thought, that is fucking cruel. And his dad comes in, showing him how much of a pussy boy he really was. And I was glad the dad came in, because that's animal cruelty, until Henry Bowers finds a knife in the mailbox and kills off his father because he's a fucking psychopath and disturbing was disturbing but pretty good intensity. Beverly finds out her father is really abusive and Pennywise starts to capture her. Like, oh shit, this movie is getting much more seriously dark. Bill tries to visit Beverly and finds out Pennywise captured her and gets the gang back together to go into the haunted house where it, aka Pennywise, took her. And into a well where the big fight begins, where it's Pennywise versus the Losers Club. And when Mike versus Henry Bowers ends up, like, first Henry Bowers takes the rope up while Mike is knocked out and Henry Bowers almost kills him, but Mike gets Henry Bowers into the well. Was an awesome moment for the movie. Ben tries to kiss Beverly to get out of the curse Pennywise put her in earlier in the film. I thought two things. One, there's the love triangle moment again, and two, that was pretty funny. The Losers Club versus Pennywise was a very brutal fight because the boys just beat the living shit out of him and just falls down into the well, and Bill and the Losers Club swear to each other to come back years later when it comes back. And they split, and the movie ends with it saying It, Chapter 1, and I like that moment because there's a sequel coming. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give the movie a 8.5 out of 10. This movie has scariness and and some humor into it. I like the performance of Bill Skarsgård better than Tim Curry's version, and it's such a good movie. Even though I'm not a huge Stephen King fan, this may be his best horror adaptation yet. This is a crazy fucking movie. Go see it. And I'd like to thank you guys for joining me on this It retrospective. And until next time, there's Pennywise.